me, the first foundational block is knowing what you're dealing with. And and the reason I've used such an abstract terminology rather than knowing about your assets or things, and knowing what you're dealing with is more important, is because when we talk about knowing your assets, people immediately in their mind label assets as, maybe their cloud platform or their SaaS services, or they've got a particular flavor on it. But actually what you need to know is about all the pieces that make up the things that you're dependent on for it to work. It's, what are the foundations of your business? What's underpinning it? What's holding it all together? And increasingly in the world, as we know it today, those are all types of digital assets that have to be there and you have to know about. And trying to get the data collated about them is far more than just knowing about your infrastructure.
So the good news is, when you're starting this journey, I think most organizations have a tremendous amount of data. They have large volumes of log information that's generated by the cloud providers, by the applications. They probably have multiple inventories of systems, of applications, of their network. Lots of data there. It's very hard to action that data because it's quite often it's inconsistent. Sometimes it's contradictory. The number of times we've looked in an IPAM and we've looked in a CMDB and we found information that's not consistent. It's structured in different ways, and the volumes are, in a large organization, are petabytes a day. So you can't work with it. There's a information theory practice which information theorists talk about as the DIKW pyramid. It's the transformation of raw unstructured data into information that a human being can reason about, and into knowledge that's actually actionable. And I believe that that's kind of the basis if you're trying to risk manage, which is really what we're doing here when we're trying to deliver operational resilience. You need to get to knowledge, and once you have that, you can begin to ask the questions. You can you can do things like you can measure your impact tolerances against that knowledge. You can measure your risk tolerances against that knowledge. And that's something that we call a Viama, we call it ground truth. And that relates back to, hundreds of years worth of experience in the military. Ground truth and situational awareness are quite old concepts. But yeah, I think the important thing is you end up at a place that a human being or some software can actually begin to ask the questions that you need to ask to ensure that you are resilient, or that if there are risks, you understand them.
Mm-hmm.